All right, so Alita Battle Angel, you ready to do this?
Mm-hmm.
All right, rating first. 3, 2, 1.
See it.
I think to boil this movie down, it's essentially Titanic with cyborgs. Alita Battle Angel. This film is, well, it's an adaptation of a anime that was an adaptation of a manga. It's a story that takes place far in the future. A doctor finds a cyborg head in a junkyard. He gives it a body. It wakes up, and through some circumstances that the android finds itself in, he gives it the name of Alita. She finds out she's some sort of super warrior from a war from years past. So with years past, way back in the past. So I mentioned the Titanic thing because this film actually has a heavy romance to it. There's essentially a Jack and Rose vibe to this romance. Sort of like they're from opposite sides of the track. Like he's this bad boy that does... Well, you don't really know what he does. He's just the bad boy that lives on the street, and she's an android whose father's a doctor. And the doctor's weary of them being together because he might have nefarious ideas or something like that. But that's essentially, that romance is kind of like the driving force of the plot.
I had no idea it was going to be that romantic. I was like, what are we watching?
Yeah.
I had no idea. So when I walked out of the theater, I think the first thing I said to you is that was more romantic than I thought it was going to be. Like, now I guess I get why it's coming out during Valentine's Day week.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
I was very confused because I had no idea that it was going to be quite like that. I wasn't really expecting a lot of this movie. I wasn't overly excited to go see it, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and I am a fan of the property. I got the anime in the back there. Really love the anime. It's on the shelf behind me. Had that for a long time.
Oh, it's Battle Angel. I just saw Angel, and I was wondering why you put that up there. But okay, and now I get it. Now I see it.
But been a fan of the property for quite a while. The film goes far more into the relationship and romance, having that be the driving force much more than the original property does. And that's either going to rub some people the wrong way or some people are going to like it. I think like you, people who aren't familiar with the property are really going to like it. I still really liked it. The things that I liked most about this movie is, one, essentially the world that this film takes place in. I found it was super interesting. Alita herself was compelling, but she was endearing. She has like a very naiveness to her because when she wakes up, she doesn't remember anything from the past, and she's like learning everything for the first time.
I did feel like in the beginning, though, I wasn't sure about it. In the first like 20 minutes of the movie, I was like, okay. I wasn't hooked yet.
Yeah.
And then after it started getting rolling, like it started really getting rolling and the game started to pop up, that like money game, what is it called?
Motorball.
Motorball game. That's when I really started to like it. I really liked the game.
Yeah. Outside, the CGI is fantastic. We saw it in 3D. The 3D was fantastic. The special effects on Alita, she looked goofy in the trailers last year. I was 100% sold on it. In the movie, they completed their special effects. I feel like they released the trailer last year far too early. It looks complete now. Some of the best special effects I've seen in a film in a really long time. I would say Alita rivals Thanos for like the believability department.
That's a high praise. It's a high praise. People are either going to like that or they're not going to like that. But I think that it visually was stunning.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, like seeing it in the theater that we did, like the Prime Theater, the big theater with the 3D, it really made it more exciting. I think if seeing it in this and then seeing it in a regular theater, it just brought everything together and it really made it enjoyable.
Yeah, the sound design is incredible as well.
The music
we saw it in
cool.
Dolby. It was super loud in Dolby. Sort of seat shaking loud is what I would say.
I mean, that's why you go to the Dolby theaters for all that experience. And this is a movie that you have to see it in that particular theater to really get the full effect of like being in the movie. Yeah.
All the actors playing the cyborgs the peripheral cyborgs. Ed Skrein as I can't remember his character's name, but he plays the bounty hunter that's like a rival to Alita.
The other one, right?
Sapan, I believe maybe his name was.
I don't remember. He was mean.
Yeah, he's really good. Ed Skrein's a really good actor. He was the bad guy in the first Deadpool movie.
The bad guy?
Yeah. He was the one, he actually essentially created Deadpool in the first Deadpool movie. Same actor.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a good bad guy.
Yeah. Jackie Earle Haley, I believe that's his name. Maybe I got his middle name messed up. But he plays the big bad guy.
Or the big,
yeah.
cyborg.
Most famous for playing Rorschach in Watchmen. He's a really good actor. We don't see enough of him. He's really good in this. My only complaint about his character, he calls the little girl Flea. And I just, that kind of trope, like, I'm going to get you, Flea, was kind of eye-rolling. It's like, oh, come on. You're sounding a little goofy there.
Yeah.
But his physicality, the character he brought to life was really cool.
All of the cyborgs were really cool. I actually really found appealing. I think, you know what, you were asking me yesterday to start thinking about my favorite scene, and I think it just changed in my head because, are we going to talk about that yet?
In a minute.
And I'll explain why when we get to that, but the cyborgs just look really cool in this film. Like the way that they look, the way that they move, his weapons that he had on like the really big guy had was also really cool. And the fact that, I mean, the whole hunting aspect of it, like the fact that Alita's the guy who put her together.
The doctor?
The doctor was like a hunter. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. The other thing that I really liked, I was actually like really surprised by this. The film is actually really, really violent. I mean, there's a scene where we see a kid get cut in half with a sword. I was like, whoa. Isn't this PG-13?
It's violent, but it's not gory.
Yeah, I mean, still, I was like, whoa, geez, they actually went there. Yeah, like when the androids are fighting, like you can see like the fluids coming out of their faces and bodies, and it still looks incredibly violent. It still gives you the sense that you just saw someone pretty much get their ass kicked brutally.
Yeah.
It's like when someone has like blue goo coming out of their face, like you feel like they're feeling pain.
Well, it's the blood of the cyborgs.
Yeah. I thought it was a nice touch.
It was cool.
So with that said, what was your favorite scene?
Okay, so I had a favorite scene, and I have changed it. My favorite scene actually was when, I forgot about this scene, it was when they're in the bar, and all the cyborgs are in there, and all the bounty hunters are in there, and then the fight with like the really big guy comes in, and all the things happen.
Yeah. My favorite scene will be the scene when we are revealed that the doctor is a hunter killer and Alita is actually some sort of super robot. The scene in the alleyway. Yeah. That was an awesome scene. That's probably my favorite one. The reveal of who Alita essentially is quite awesome. It rivals the anime. The same scene happens in the anime, happens in the manga. They do that scene justice in this film. It's awesome. How
related is the TV show to this? Or is it not a TV show? It's a 4-part movie?
No, it's OVA, so I think it's 2 or 3 episodes.
So it's like a mini series almost, and then it meets. So like, how different or how alike is it to this film? Because I bought the first book.
Yeah.
Because I wanna check it out.
I don't know about the manga, but the anime, it's different because the love story is not the main focus of the anime.
It's not the drive.
No, it's her being, I believe, a hunter killer.
Oh, so I think I'll enjoy the book. I think the book will be interesting.
So there's a lot of parallels between the anime and the book. They just made the focus of Hugo and Alita the focus of the movie. All right. So is there anything about this film that you didn't like?
I think we kind of spotted it on throughout our conversation, but I do agree. I think the reason it took me a little bit to get into the movie was because the first like 10-15 minutes just felt a little awkward. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of, I wasn't 100% sure I was ready to give into this film and enjoy it as much as I ended up doing. But far from that, I don't think there's anything in particular that like comes out and says like, I didn't like this part or I didn't like this part. Overall, for me, it was an enjoyable film.
Yeah. I could have done without Motorball.
No. No. I want an entire movie dedicated to Motorball. It reminded me of Real Steel, and I love that movie. Like the boxing. It was like the boxing of. I knew you were gonna go there. No.
Because as soon as you walked out of the theater, I asked you like what you liked about it. You're like, I like the Motorball. And like my first thought coming out of the theater was like, I probably could have done without the Motorball. So I didn't say anything. I wanted to wait till now to tell you that. I probably could have done. The scenes themselves are really cool. The Motorball scene towards the end of the film was really awesome. It's just I think maybe you could have.
Object.
You probably could have done some equally cool scenes without the Motorball stuff. As some people have said, it comes off very kind of 90s-ish.
Meh, whatever.
Early 2000s.
So?
But I think that's...
You know what? All the cool things from the 90s are coming back. Why not roller skating?
So that's my thing. I didn't hate the Motorball. It didn't turn me off to the film.
I thought that was great.
But I think it just felt maybe a little padded. But that's probably like my only real thing with the film.
And that was like how you got up to the upper world of whatever.
So that's my only thing. I probably could have done with an alternative to Rollerball, but those Rollerball scenes are Motorball. I keep on saying Rollerball. God, I think Rollerball.
They're on roller skates.
No, there's an actual movie called Rollerball where like that's essentially the movie. Where it's people skating. It's like a.
What? Why haven't I seen this?
So bad. It's such a terrible movie. Stars the guy from American Pie. I can't remember his name.
The point
Anyways,
is,
and that's
like
probably
it,
one of the
sad.
other things is that like it reminded me of the cheesy. I want to say it was early 2000s movie, maybe late 90s movie. I think it was called Rollerball. But I mean, outside of that, everything else was fine. The action scenes were really cool. Even the Motorball scene at the very end was really neat when they're all there to kill her.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool. So that's it for me.
I was actually pleasantly surprised in the beginning when Motorball came on. I was like, ooh, is this going to be all about Motorball? But it wasn't, but it was fine. I was excited. I
feel like this is essentially Titanic with Cyborgs. You replace Jack and Jill with Alita and Hugo, and you replace the Titanic sinking with Cyborg action.
You better follow through with the promise that you made after the movie. We are going to have a Titanic, Alita, back-to-back movie day, and you can't back out.
Okay.
You can't back out.
It's even the ending of the two movies are parallel to each other. It's kind of funny.
Well, to be fair, you said that was part of the TV show.
Yeah, no, I believe it's in the manga and the anime. They stay pretty true to the ending, I believe.
Okay, well, you have to be true to your word.
Will do. Okay. That's it for me.
That's it for me.
All right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time, guys.